You take a bite of something sweet, chocolate, a soft drink, a piece of cake. Within minutes, something changes. Your energy feels higher. Your mood may improve. Your brain suddenly feels more alert. But the effect often doesn't last very long. Sometimes it fades quickly. And in some cases, energy even drops afterward. Why does sugar affect the brain so quickly? To understand this, we need to look at how the brain uses fuel. Because the human brain depends heavily on one molecule for energy: glucose. Glucose is a simple sugar circulating in the bloodstream. It is the primary fuel used by brain cells. Every second, neurons require energy to maintain electrical signals, transmit information, and process incoming sensory data. Unlike muscles, the brain cannot store large energy reserves. It depends on a continuous supply of glucose from the bloodstream. But here's where it gets interesting. When you eat foods containing sugar or carbohydrates, digestion begins breaking them down into glucose molecules. These molecules quickly enter the bloodstream. As blood glucose levels rise, the body responds by releasing a hormone called insulin. Insulin helps move glucose from the bloodstream into cells where it can be used for energy. The brain receives its supply through specialized transport systems in the blood vessels that feed neural tissue. Because the brain requires constant energy, it has priority access to circulating glucose. But the brain does something even more fascinating. It does not simply use glucose as fuel. Glucose availability can also influence how the brain regulates motivation and reward. Deep within the brain are regions that respond strongly to signals related to energy-rich foods. One important structure involved in this system is the striatum, which is part of the brain's reward network. When energy-dense foods are detected, dopamine signaling within this network can increase. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter involved in motivation and learning. It helps the brain recognize opportunities that may improve survival. In ancient environments, foods rich in sugar were extremely valuable energy sources. So the brain evolved systems that strongly reinforce the discovery of such foods. And this leads to an unexpected effect. Sweet foods can produce rapid changes in brain signaling. Energy availability increases. Reward systems become active. Attention systems may sharpen temporarily. But the brain doesn't stop there. Because blood glucose levels cannot remain elevated indefinitely. After glucose enters the bloodstream, insulin begins lowering blood sugar by helping cells absorb it. If a large amount of sugar is consumed quickly, blood glucose levels may rise rapidly and then fall again as insulin works to restore balance. This rapid change can create fluctuations in perceived energy levels, sometimes described as a sugar spike followed by a crash. But the brain does something even more complex. It continuously monitors energy availability and adjusts behavior accordingly. If glucose levels drop too low, hunger signals increase. If glucose rises, the brain may temporarily reduce hunger signals. These feedback systems are coordinated by the hypothalamus, which regulates energy balance across the body. But once you understand these biological systems, something important becomes clear. The brain's response to sugar is not simply about taste, it is about energy detection. Your brain evolved in environments where high-energy foods were rare, so when sugar appears, neural systems quickly respond. Attention increases. Reward systems activate. The brain recognizes an opportunity to replenish fuel. In modern environments where sugar is abundant, this ancient system is still operating. The brain continues responding to energy signals just as it did thousands of years ago. By the way, if you're interested in understanding how the brain and body actually work, this channel explores the science behind those systems. Many everyday experiences begin to make more sense when we examine the biology behind them. And the brain's rapid response to sugar is one of the clearest examples. Your brain is constantly monitoring fuel availability. Because every thought, memory, and decision depends on energy. Vera explains the science behind how the human system works. Subscribe if you're curious about the biology of being human.